Movie stars, pop music artists, television personalities, best-selling authors. These are the people that society shines a spotlight on. They're guests on talk shows and cover stories on magazines, day after day and year after year. But this world is full of people. People who work interesting jobs, take up intriguing hobbies, or set off on unusual adventures. People who will never walk a red carpet for what they do, never get booked on a publicity tour. And those are the people I want to meet. Those are the stories I want to tell. I want to discover the things that captivate ordinary people and make ordinary people captivating. I firmly believe that everyone is interesting, and you don't have to be famous to be fascinating. I'm Brian Johnson, and this is Nobody You Know. Hello and welcome to the premiere episode of Nobody You Know. And to make things easy on myself, I've chosen as my first guest someone I actually know very well. This is my wife of 19 years, Veronica Johnson. So thank you for joining me on one of your husband's wild new ideas.
Well, thank you.
Okay. But for a long time, Veronica has been into various kinds of sewing and thread work and just dealing with the fabric arts. Can we sum it up in that way?
Yeah,
Is that,
needlecraft and fabric.
I know at times I have used the wrong term and have slept on the couch for it. But one of the things she does every month is she hosts a yarn night. And that just over time started to intrigue me, the possibility of discussing exactly what this is. So what is a yarn night?
Well, yarn night is just a chance for usually women. I haven't had any men other than you showing up, but a chance for women to get together and just work with yarn. And I kept it open to yarn because not everyone has the same interest. For me, my main interest is knitting, but there's also crochet. That's the other wildly popular one, but there could be things like plastic canvas, cross stitch, different things.
Which I have done years ago as a teenager. Where did you get the idea for yarn night? Is it like the Red Hats Club where there's an association that started this thing? Or
no, not really. It's more of just a way for women to get together. And actually I came across it in some murder mystery books, actually, where they would have a yarn night and there'd be some kind of murder. Which
leads to my curiosity specifically for this episode, knitting, how to do it. So we're going to attempt. I'm going to attempt to do something that I have never done in my life until this camera started rolling tonight.
All right. Should be fun.
All right. So lead the way. You have a great deal of yarn here.
I do. Knitting uses 2 needles. So I have 2 needles here that you will be using. Oftentimes we'll get confused with crochet, which is a hook.
I've never done that.
Crochet is just a simple
Never confused
hook.
the two.
I won't let you. But knitting is done on 2 needles, and a lot of people find it very intimidating because they don't know what to do with the 2 needles. But that's what I'll be showing you. So those are your needles that you'll be using, and these are my needles. So what you want to do is, for your first project, just choose a ball of yarn. We're not actually going to create anything except maybe a square. But
I don't even know if we'll get that far. But
we're going to be learning the techniques.
Okay.
I would recommend for your first one not using something too dark because then you won't be able to see what you're doing.
Well, my thought is we are currently a no-budget production with no lighting, so we want to use nice, bright yarns that everybody can see.
So choose a yarn.
Well, that's an easy one. Except it's not. There we go.
Find the end. There you go. We're just going to go through the basics. I'm not going to go through history of yarn or anything like that.
Excellent. The history of yarn?
There must be a history. With our yarn, we're going to first start with a long tail cast on. It's an easy, fast method once you learn the technique, but it can be a little cumbersome to begin with. First, what you're going to learn to do is do a slip knot. Do you know how to do a slip knot?
No, I failed that part. I never got my knots
Okay.
badge in Scouts.
So
Scouts.
before you do anything, we're going to make our slip knot kind of partly up your arm, the length of your, yes, yes, get the muscle in there, kind of by your elbow. That's where you're going to create your slip knot.
Okay.
So just hold that yarn right there.
Okay.
With the slip knot, all you're doing is you're wrapping your yarn around and crossing it. So hold your yarn, you're just going to you're making a loop. So you see how the yarn crosses?
Uh-huh.
Then you're going to take that yarn and go back behind the loop and pull it up.
If you stick your tongue out like Charlie Brown, it works so much better.
Every time. Okay? Pull that up. That's your loop. And you pull the 2 strands down. That's your slip knot. You know it's a slip knot because you can pull it and the knot comes out.
Right, that made sense.
Do it again. Pull it out. So pull your 2 ends.
Yep, yep, yep.
Yay, it slipped. Let's do it again. Look at you. You're a pro. You have now your slip knot and then your tail.
Mm-hmm.
And the yarn that is attached to the ball is your working yarn. It's important not to confuse those two.
Okay.
Right now we're going to use 1 needle. Okay? It's best if you have your working yarn off to the left, just so that it's on that way.
Is this because I'm right-handed? Would a left-handed person actually reverse this?
Yes. Put your needle in through that slip knot and just tighten up the slip knot so that it's...
Oops.
All
the way?
Yeah, you don't want it super tight. Okay, are you ready? This is the fun part.
Okay.
We are going
I don't know. I've been having a blast so far, so I can't imagine.
I love doing the long tail cast on. We have our working yarn to our left and our tail to the left, working yarn to the right. We are going to have our hands on the outside and put our finger and thumb between the two, kind of creating a tent. You don't need to go too far away from them. Grab the tails underneath with your fingers. So you're going to basically close the yarns and stick your finger and thumb through. Good. You've got a little tent in there.
Okay.
I like to work so that my hand is up and I'm creating holes. I've got a hole here where my thumb is and a hole where my finger.
Yes.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to be working through these holes. With the needle, I'm going to come on the outside of your thumb hole.
Okay.
And bring it up into that hole.
Up into the hole, okay.
Into the hole. Then you're going to bring it over and grab the thread. Yep, and you're going to bring that thread right back down through the thumb hole that you came up in.
Back down through the...
Perfect.
hole.
Now you're going to bring it up and drop your thumb. And then use your thumb to pull that yarn down.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Hail the conquering hero!
You have 1 stitch. Perfect. And you're right back into position. You did good. You got it. You're going to do it again.
Wait. Let me see. It's all the way out.
Yes.
Up through. Around to the first one.
That's right.
Down through the first one.
Yes.
And then let go.
And then you drop your thumb so that you can then tighten it up. What I love about this is how fast it will go. Because watch. If you go fast, then you can just pull it. And it's one fluid motion.
Okay, so you're doing a tricky thing there at the end with the thumb. All right.
Okay, so it's not that tricky.
Don't argue with me.
No, I'm the one with the needles. If you see what you're doing, all you're doing is you're getting the yarn here and looping it inside. Through that first one, back through the hole. Okay, and yes.
That was the slow motion version.
Very slow motion, but it's perfect.
It's the Peter Jackson school of filmmaking applied to knitting.
So you would do this for however many stitches you want to have on your piece.
Right.
I would suggest we get 10.
And I have 3 because this first one doesn't count.
It does count.
Oh, okay.
That first one counts. So you have 4.
Ooh. 2, 3. Whoopsh.
Look at you go. Look at you go. 1, 2, 3.
I am a man. Oops. Wait.
No, the outside.
Outside and up. Down, down.
Now, one thing I'm noticing when you're doing it, you're going through, but then you're
panicking?
You're pulling it straight out like this. I would just pull it down.
Okay. I have 11.
Perfect.
I got exuberant.
That's all right. I did too. I put on a bunch. These are our cast-on stitches.
Okay.
These don't count as a row. They are a foundation, and there are many different ways to cast on. So our piece is started. Now we're going to start using 2 yarns.
Whoa. Yarns or needles?
Sorry,
okay.
Needles. 2 needles. We can use 2 yarns.
No, that's right.
I don't think you're ready for that.
Nope.
You're going to move your needle with the work into your left hand. With our right-handed needle, we are going to now start our first stitch. When you look at your loops, you have a loop on your hook.
Yeah, but you got yours all spread out. Hold on.
Yeah, I've spread mine out so I can see them. When we're knitting, our knitting stitch, we're going to do the knit stitches working from front to back. Meaning, our front is right here, the front of the loop, and we're going through that little hole to the back. With our working yarn, we're going to do a yarn over, which is wrapping it from the back to the front between the needles. Yep. All right. So our working yarn is down between the needles. And we have that little hole that we created where you put your needle through that hole. You're going to bring that yarn now.
What do you mean I'm bringing that yarn?
Okay. You're going to bring the needle down through so you can bring that yarn that you just wrapped over through that hole. Perfect.
Okay.
That stitch is on there. Now you're going to slide that stitch off of that first needle. It's going to feel a little loose and it'll feel a little awkward. The first row always is. I'm going to go front to back on the next stitch. So taking your needle, going front to back.
Wait.
Yep. Oh, you lost it. You dropped it. Okay, get your needle back into that stitch.
Wait. Okay. Now, for some reason, I keep losing it.
That's because you have no tension.
Well, it's making me tense. All right. And with that second one, I'm going to ask, who sat down and figured this out? What woman had no time, had nothing else to do? For the sake of not making this episode too long, however, I am going to say thank you so much for my first lesson in knitting. I got through two first stitches. Are they called? What are they called?
Yeah, these are stitches.
Okay, I got
a knit stitch.
I guess I got one stitch, and the second one kept fighting me.
And now you've lost it because you dropped your
needle. And now
needle.
I've lost it entirely, but that's okay because we need to go ahead and wrap things up here. I've been talking today with Veronica Johnson, who also happens to be my wife, about her yarn nights and my first lesson in knitting. Obviously, a very common thing that goes on around the world, but it's the first time that I have ever put my hand to it. So I don't know if I will ever put my hand to it again. But thank you, Veronica, for showing me that, for showing the world that. And I don't know, maybe you need to start your own channel.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And there she goes. You don't even have to look.
Well, no, because it's just a knit stitch.
That about wraps it up. Thank you for watching this opening episode. This is Veronica Johnson, nobody you know, although now you do. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the very first episode of Nobody You Know. As you saw, I started small and very close to home, but in the weeks ahead I want to reach out much wider and meet more interesting people. So I invite you, especially on my current budget if you live in Central Oregon, to send me an email and tell me why you are interesting. Don't be shy, brag on yourself a little bit, and let's see about getting you on the show. I'm Brian Johnson, this is Nobody You Know, and remember, you don't have to be famous to be fascinating. See you next time.